This time be different. That's what people want to know in this difficult morning all across America. 2 mass shootings in less than 24 hours. And of course, we have to keep in mind what happened less than a week ago, the food festival in California as well.
This is so hard to believe. An overnight, communities in Dayton and El Paso coming together to mourn those who sensibly lost their lives, singing Amazing Grace and demanding leaders take action to stop the gun violence.
The whole country this morning shaken again by the insanity of mass shootings. Forced to confront a uniquely American problem, we have more deaths by guns than any other country in the world because we have more deadly guns. That conclusion is inescapable. And these massacres are increasingly inspired by hate. In just the last 18 months, 7 separate shootings by white nationalists. Domestic terrorism becoming the threat of our time.
And cannot be afraid to use that phrase, domestic terrorism. Here's what we know at this hour. The 2 mass shootings happened within 13 hours of each other. Combined, 29 people were killed, 53 more wounded. The flag at the White House is flying at half-staff until sunset on Thursday, honoring the many victims. And we are live on the scene of both tragedies. World News Tonight anchor David Muir starts us off. He's there in El Paso. Good morning, David.
Robin, good morning. You know, we have been to so many of these mass shootings. It's difficult to describe anymore what it's like when you approach these families whose lives have been destroyed. There is the story of a young mother in this Walmart behind me. She was holding on to her 2-month-old baby. She was trying to save him from the gunfire, and she did save him, but she died in the process. The father died as well, which essentially means there are 3 children this morning without parents. That is what happens in these massacres across America, and we have to remember that. This morning, we now know from the police chief here that this suspect did in fact drive 600 miles to get here from Allen, Texas, outside Dallas, with the intent to kill as many Mexican Americans as he could.
Go, go, come on!
This was the horrific scene at the Walmart here in El Paso, Texas. Frightened victims being treated in shopping carts. Moments earlier, scenes of sheer panic as terrified shoppers take cover and run for their lives.
There's busting guns in Walmart right now. AK, somebody's got shot.
Frightened families, their hands in the air, dashing past armed police.
Hands up, hands up!
The first call coming in at 10:39 Saturday morning.
We need tactical units to go ahead and start responding to the help support at the Walmart.
Mama, let's go, let's go. Run, Mija, run.
Authorities say 21-year-old Patrick Crucius went on a deadly rampage at this Walmart in El Paso, killing 20, injuring more than 24 more. The gunman shooting his way in. Surveillance images obtained by KTSM show the suspect armed with an assault-style rifle, wearing ear protection and tactical glasses. And authorities say the assault rifle, similar to an AK-47 and several magazines, were recovered at the scene. The store was packed with thousands of shoppers. Many of the families were looking for back-to-school supplies.
He shot 8 rounds. I had to pretend I was dead.
Maribel Latin was shot in the arm and foot.
He was the calmest person ever. He didn't say anything, just plain hatred.
Shoppers crawling on their stomachs, seeking shelter wherever they could.
Situation, needless to say, is a horrific one.
Adria Gonzalez was shopping with her mother when she heard the gun go off.
This senior citizen lady that I tried to help and I couldn't, and I just told her to move faster and she couldn't move faster, so I left her there and I needed to get out.
About 20 minutes after that first shot was fired, police apprehending the suspect just a few blocks from the scene. Authorities are now hunting for clues for a motive behind the bloodshed. And authorities now believe the killer was fueled by hate.
Right now we have a manifesto from this individual that indicates to some degree it has a nexus to potential hate crime.
Law enforcement telling ABC News the shooter is from Allen, Texas, 600 miles away from El Paso, nearly a 10-hour drive. The mall here in El Paso is just 5 miles from the U.S.-Mexico border. I spoke with the police chief about the possible motive.
But he came here to El Paso, 600 miles.
Right.
Was it the makeup of this community? Was it your proximity to the border?
I think both.
There was the story of a young mother, 25-year-old Jordan Anchondo, who was killed while protecting her 2-month-old son. In the hours after, the family pleading for help, trying to locate the husband, the father of the boy, Andre. And right before I spoke with the family, they received the heartbreaking news that the boy's father had also been killed As a family now, they want to keep the couple's 3 children together.
I think together as a family will remind them who their parents were, what they did for them, the love they had for them, and clearly displayed the ultimate sacrifice for them.
And Edie Hulbert making this desperate plea for help in finding her 86-year-old mother.
I got tired of waiting and waiting and waiting, and I just want to know where my mom is.
This morning, we have learned that her mother, Angie Ellsby, was identified as among those who were killed. Also among the dead, 15-year-old Javier Rodriguez. The soccer-loving local teen was set to start his sophomore year in high school. We also spoke to Private First Class Glendon Oakley, who was being hailed a hero this morning. The off-duty soldier was shopping in a sporting goods store when a child, just 5 or 6, suddenly ran up to him.
Just came in and just said that it was an active shooter. We didn't believe him.
And when he heard the gunfire and saw the chaos, Oakley sprung into action, grabbing as many of the children who were running on their own as he could.
I would want somebody to protect my child if I was there, if you know him or not.
And overnight here, El Paso strong, the community coming together, all seeking hope, comfort, and seeking change in the wake of this unspeakable tragedy. This is still a very active crime scene here. They took out the remaining bodies actually in the overnight hours here. Authorities are still on the scene. We do know that the suspect has now been charged with capital murder. Federal authorities here on the scene made it very clear that they plan to press ahead. They are considering domestic terrorism and hate crimes charges, and they continue to look at the writings from this suspect right before these shootings. And the police chief telling me that already in interviews, interrogations with the suspect, that a lot of what he's saying mirrors what they found in those writings. Of course, this is a horrific scene. The people here in El Paso are coming together this morning. Robin?
All right, David, thanks so much, and we'll get back to you a little bit later.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.